Oops, sorry. Let's turn the sound off on this. Okay, section 8.6. Now we did section 8.6 yesterday, but we only did half of it, and that was the law of sines. So today what we're going to do is the law of cosines. Let me just show you what the law of cosines is. Now we just talked about this. If you really want to see how they came up with the law of cosines, you're more than welcome to. Go to go to the law of cosines, and you'll see he'll do that proof for the law of cosines if you're interested in that. I'm just going to show you what it is. I write it a little bit differently than what he does, but it all boils down to the same thing. Actually, if you look in the book, they write 3 different versions of this law of cosines. I only learned one version of the law of cosines, just because really the other 2 are kind of redundant, to tell you the truth. Here it is. It almost looks like the Pythagorean theorem. So if I started off with c squared, what's the Pythagorean theorem if I go c squared? Equals what? A squared, what? Plus b squared. Good. That's the first part of the law of cosines. All right, so you know half of it already. You just have to remember the second half of it. All right, so it's going to be minus 2ab. I guess you guys have looked, haven't you? Times the cosine of what? C. Now, this is a big C, a capital C. So what does that represent? The angle, that's right, because you can only take the cosine of an angle. You can't take the cosine of a side. You follow me? So I would never take the cosine of this side right here. You can't do it. You can only take the cosine of an angle. Everybody understand that? All right, so that's capital C. Now look, this is little c, this is capital C. What must be true? What must be true about this side and this angle right here? They're what to each other? They're opposite each other. That's right. Okay, they're opposite each other. Everybody understand that? Now, the book will do this. I'm only going to do one version of this, but the book might write it like this, that a squared equals, what do you think? B squared plus c squared minus 2, what? BC cosine of A. Right, because this angle is opposite this side right here. But to tell you the truth, you don't need to know all 3 of these because they write it c squared equals, a squared equals, and b squared equals. I just think that's kind of a waste of time, to tell you the truth. I just learned one version of it, and that's it right there. So memorize it. Memorize the law of sines, memorize the law of cosines. You already know half of it, don't you? Because half of it is the Pythagorean theorem. You just have to memorize the other half. Make sense? Okay. Now, how in the world do we use this? Well, glad you asked. That's A, B, C. Now, what would this side be right here? What would I call that side? Could I call it anything? Well, in relationship to these angles, I'll call it what? Side A. All right? And if this is angle B right here, what would I call this side right here? Side B. And if this is angle C, I'll call this side C. All right? So just remember that the angle is opposite. Angle A is opposite side A. Angle B is opposite side B. And angle C is opposite side C. Everybody okay with that? All right. Let's actually just do an example. Is that all right with you? So let's get rid of all these. And let's stick some numbers in here. My triangle doesn't look exactly like the one in the book, but it's okay. Let's say angle C is 28 degrees, so this is 28 degrees. The opposite side is X, and this side is 11, and this is 9. And we're trying to solve for X. Alright, so let's move this up. Tell you what, let's move it so we can see the law of cosines right there. Alright, so let's take a look and see what we can do. First of all, could we use the law of sines on this, Ricky? Okay. Could we use the law of sines on this? Because remember, on the law of sines, I have to know at least one side and an angle that's opposite that side. Do I know that? No, I don't, because look, knowing this is 28, can I find these 2 angles right here? Not if I only know one angle, no. Not, just by subtracting from 180, I can't. Look at this side. This is opposite 28. I don't know that, do I? So I'm going to have 2 unknowns if I use a law of sines. So I can't really use a law of sines to be able to solve for this. So I have to have another way to do it. I can't just use regular sine, cosine, tangent because it's not a right triangle. Okay? So I got to have another way to do it. And the other way would be the law of cosines. If you have a side, an angle, and a side, that's one big indication to you that you're going to use a law of cosines. Everybody hear that? So if you have a side, an angle, and a side, a lot of times you'll look at that and you'll say, oh, okay, I'll probably use law of cosines on this because it's set up perfectly for you. So let's set this up. Let's do this. What is our C in this situation? Our side C. It's the x. So how am I going to write that? Let's do it right here. So I write it x squared equals. Now the a and the b represent the other two sides. So I've got 9 squared plus 11 squared. Good. Minus 2 times AB. So here's my A and my B right here, right? So I just go 9 and 11, and then what? Cosine of the angle that's opposite this side, right? So here's the side. The angle that's opposite is 28, so I go cosine of 28. Right? So it's just plugging stuff into a formula is all it is. All right? It's not that big of a deal. You know what the hardest part of this is? Putting it into a calculator. I'll tell you the truth. The hardest part of this is putting it into a calculator. Now watch very carefully. I'm going to give you a little hint because you're really going to want to use parentheses on your calculator. You're going to go 9 squared plus 11 squared minus, then right there. That's where you're going to use a parentheses. You're going to put your own parentheses in your calculator right there. Okay? And then you're going to close up this with a parentheses. Does that make sense? Because you're subtracting this whole entire product. So that whole product needs to be in parentheses. So it depends what calculator you're using. Yes?
Couldn't you find 9 squared plus 11 squared and find that?
You could, and you could write it down, but I'm trying to do it all in one shot in my calculator. You're absolutely right. You could. You could go 9 squared plus 11 squared, write it down, and then you could do all this stuff, write it down, subtract them, right, and then take the square root of it. You're absolutely right. You could do that. But, I don't know, I kind of like to put everything in the calculator all in one shot. All right, so try to get used to that. I think that might be a little bit better for you to do that. So let's see. Let's get a calculator. Oh, there's a calculator. How about that? And let's scooch this over just so I can see everything in the calculator. Whoops. Oh, there's senior pictures. Where'd they come from? I clicked the wrong thing. All right. All right, so here we go. We're good to go now. Let's turn this thing on. Let's clear it. And make sure you're in what? Degrees. How do you do that on this calculator? Go to mode. Yep, I'm in degrees because I didn't shut it off from yesterday, so everything's good. All right, so what I'm going to do here now on a graphing calculator, you know what you might want to do also is put this whole thing, oops, in a parentheses, because on a graphing calculator you got to do everything in one shot. Actually, I'll show you how to. I'll tell you what I just did right there with the two parentheses. I don't want to confuse you any more than you're already going to be. All right, so let's just do this. Let's put it in here. So I've got 9 squared, so 9 squared plus 11 squared minus, now what do I put? Put a parentheses, okay? I put my own parentheses right there. It's very important that you do that because I'm multiplying all this stuff inside of here. Now, what do? I go 2 times 9 times 11 times, actually, I don't even have to put times on this calculator. What do I hit? Just cosine of 28. Now watch, I close that parentheses because that's just closing in that 28, but I also have to do what? I got to close in that first parentheses, don't I? So I'm going to put another parentheses right there. Does that make sense? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an answer for that. So what is that? That's all the stuff. That's all this stuff right here. But what do I have to do to that number? I got to take the square root of it. So how do we do that on here? We hit answer. I'm not used to using it. See that ANS right there? It's a second function with the minus sign. I hit second. Actually, I got to hit square root. Oh, stink. Oh. Let's do it all again. I don't know why I hit clear. I don't think you can go back. I don't know. Just hit up? No, I don't think it does. I think once you clear it, it's cleared. Press up and enter again. And then do it again. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, yeah.
Now do it.
What? So if I clear it, hit up, and then hit enter. Hit enter again.
If you didn't press in a number.
Right. Okay, I got you. I don't know. Like I said, I hardly ever use the graphing calculator. I use the TI-30 most of the time. But anyway, let's try this again. We're running out of time now. 9 what squared plus 11 squared minus parentheses 2 times 9 times 11 cosine of 28. Close that, and then hit equals, right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit square root, and then I'm going to put the answer in. So I hit square root, which is the second function here. So second function there. So the square root of what? The last answer I get. So how do I put that answer in? I got to put this answer key. So I put second function there. So answer, I'll close it. So what it's doing, it's taking that 27.176 and it's putting it in for this. I hope it is. So what do you think that is? That's probably 5 point something, right? Because the square root of 25 is 5. All right, so let's see. Sure it is. Okay, 5.2. So there we go. That's what x is equal to after all that. So x equals around, what did I say, 5.2? 2.1, yep, so it's just 5.2. So we'll just there it is. So that's the length of x. It's the side opposite this angle right there. Okay. So now you know this 5.2. If you want to, watch. You could find one of the other angles, couldn't you? Yeah. You could find it by the law of cosines, or you could find it by the law of sines, because now you know an angle, now you know an opposite side, don't you? So you could actually find one of the other angles. If you wanted to find b, you could do that by the law of sines. Feel free to try that. I'm going to show you one more example with the law of cosines where they don't tell you the angle and you have to find out what that angle is. That's a little bit more difficult, so let's give that a shot. So look at this. They actually give you all three sides. They don't give you any angles at all. Could you use law of sines on this? No, there's no way, because in the law of sines you got two angles, right? You got to know at least one of them in order to find the other angle. So there's no way to use the law of sines on this, but we can use the law of cosines. Let's write the law of cosines down again. C squared equals a squared plus b squared, what? Minus 2ab cosine of c, okay, or the angle that's opposite this right here. All right, so what are we trying to find? We're trying to find this right here. So really our c is our what? Is our x. So our little c, our side c, is what number here? Is 8. So the 8 has to go in for this number. What about the a and the b? What's going to go in for those? The 6 and the 3. Everybody got that? All right, so let's do it real quick. Let's just plug in, and then the algebra is a little bit more difficult than what we did earlier, so I definitely want to show you that. So it's 8 squared equals what? 3 squared plus 6 squared, doesn't matter what order does it, minus 2 times 3 times 6 times the cosine of what? X. Now look at the math on this one. What do I want to do? I can't just plug everything in my calculator right now, can I? Because I got to get x by itself. That's right. So I got to get that thing by itself. How in the world am I going to do that? It's not as hard as what you would think. Well, I'm going to do the inverse eventually, but not right now.
You would divide 8.
I don't want to divide stuff.
No. You want to
Ricky, go ahead.
Find 8 squared and then find 3 squared plus 6 squared.
Okay. I'll tell you what, look at this 3 squared, and I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to hurry up. This 3 squared and 6 squared, this is being added, isn't it? You'll always get rid of something that's being, for instance, let's go back in Algebra 1. If you had something like this, okay, what would you do first? Would you divide by the 3 first? You would get rid of the 2, wouldn't you? Okay, so right here, you get rid of what's being added or subtracted. What is that? The 3 squared and the 6 squared, right? So what am I going to have over here now? I'm going to have 8 squared what? Minus 3 squared what? Minus 6 squared. Do you agree? All right? It's just like this. What would you do here? You would subtract a 2 from both sides, wouldn't you? All right? Bring this down, right? You with me on that? That's not so hard. So I just subtract those from each other. Now, what do you do here? Now how do I get rid of this x right here? I would divide, wouldn't I? Well, what's being multiplied by this cosine of x? The negative 2, the 3, and the 6, right? So how do I get rid of those things? Divide. Huh? Well, I am. Okay, so watch. Yeah. Watch. How do you divide? How do you get rid of this stuff right here?
Divide by the number you get.
Yeah, divide by, well, not the number you get. I'm not even going to do any multiplication until the very end. I'm going to use my calculator one time, and that's it. Okay? It's a lot easier that way, I promise you. It's not confusing. Look, I subtracted a 3 squared, and I subtract, you're still talking. Listen to me. We're running out of time. I subtracted a 3 squared, I subtracted a 6 squared. Why is that confusing? It's just like subtracting a 2 from this. I know what you did. I know. I understand. I do. I completely understand what you did. I know. I'm trying to show you a better way. This is a better way. I promise you. This is a better way. All right? Don't you want to know a better way? Absolutely. This is a better way. I've done this for years. Okay? I promise you, Demir. I know exactly what you're doing. Okay? I'm not saying it's wrong, but this is a better way. So watch. How do I get rid of stuff that's being multiplied? I divide. So watch. I divide by what? Negative 2 times 3 times what? Times 6. Okay. What does all that equal? That equals, see, I got rid of that stuff. That equals the cosine of x. Now, you said it earlier. How do I get rid of the cosine? Take the what? Take the inverse cosine, right? Let me just scooch this over. I have a little bit of room here. So instead of, I don't divide by the cosine, what do? I take the inverse cosine of this whole thing. Now watch. This is a one-shot deal. I don't have to use my calculator a whole bunch of times, write down those numbers, and then divide by those numbers. I'm telling you, the way you're doing it, you might think it's easier, but it's really better this way. I promise you. It's a one-shot deal. Stick it in your calculator. So what we're going to do is hit second function cosine. Let's turn it on. Clear it. So watch. Hit second function cosine right there. And then let's put all this stuff in here. Actually, I'm going to put another parentheses because I want to keep this. I want to keep this together and this together. So what do we got? We got 8 squared. 8 squared minus 3 squared. Make sure I'm punching in the right buttons. Minus 6 squared, right? Close that parentheses. And then do what? Divided by, right? Because it's that parentheses divided by this parentheses down here. Put another parentheses. What do we get? Negative 2 times 3 times 6. Okay, close that parentheses. That parentheses closed the bottom, but then this parentheses closes the whole thing. And watch, hit enter, and boom, there it is. It's 121.8. We round it to the nearest degree. So what's my angle? 122. So x equals 122. Now look, you got to agree. I used the calculator one time. I didn't have to write anything else down, did I? I just did my algebra right here, wrote it down, and there you go. So now listen. I realized the lesson I gave you yesterday had some law of cosine stuff in it. So now you've got the tools to be able to do that. So finish up the lesson that I gave you yesterday. So you should be able to do all the way down to what? 28. Okay, so basically tonight is 22 to 28. Finish that up, and that'll be due tomorrow. Okay?